Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Madoka Magica, episode 6. 6, is it? It is episode 6, because the previous episode was episode 5. Yeah, we are halfway through the season already, and in the previous episode, well, an episode before that, Sayaka has already succumbed to Kyuubey and became a magical girl. Madoka is still holding on strong. In the last episode, there was a very close call, but no, thanks to Homura, best girl, Madoka is still human, is still not a magical girl. In the previous episode, the previous episode was mostly centered around Sayaka. We were shown her relationship, or I guess so, her relationship with Kyosuke. We were shown how Kyosuke took the whole thing with being magically, miraculously cured. And although the whole time the atmosphere was very creepy, very unsettling. At any given moment, I was just waiting for some tentacle to sprout out of the ground and stab someone through the chest or something like that. But no, thankfully, nothing like that happened. Reminded me a lot of Tsukitaraka no Sferatu. That was another show where I constantly, 24/7, had the feeling of foreboding that just in a moment, just in the next episode, just in the next scene, someone's gonna die, someone's gonna get sent to the gulag, something's gonna go to shit. Nothing did in the end. Spoiler, a little bit, I guess, if you haven't seen Tsukito Laika no Sferatu, go watch it. It's an amazing series. But yeah, this really did remind me of that feeling where everything keeps you on the edge of the seat, and ultimately it's just supposed to be taken at face value. There's no double meaning, there's no double speak, there's nothing lurking in the shadows. No, Kyosuke just got back the his arm, the whatchamacallit, the control of his arm. He can now play the violin, and he played the violin, and nothing bad happened. Honestly, incredible bit of subversion right there. Because I was raking my brain for what can go wrong, right? Is he gonna have the ability to play the violin but will lose the passion, or, any sort of other genie wish kind of situation? Thankfully, not. Later, we were reintroduced to Kyoko, I guess, when Sayaka helped Madoka, saved her, well, tried to save her from the witch world, but didn't quite do that because Kyoko appeared, destroyed the boss, destroyed the witch, and it was her kill in the end. And she was very serious about taking Sayaka completely out of the picture. She has a great spear. I really do enjoy her weapon. Not as much as Mami. I still do like Mami's combat style the most. But Kyoko's certainly is interesting. Sayaka showed off some of her combat style. Showed it off a little bit more with the multiple swords and throwing them around. That was cool. I really like the grit of Sayaka, how she didn't give up, how she stood back up again. She has a lot of determination in her, and I wonder if that will be her downfall. That she won't back out when she can, and she will die, or something else horrible will happen to her. Remains to be seen. In the end, thankfully, Homura appeared, but only after Kyuubey, of course, told Madoka that, hey, if you wanna help your friend, you can do that. Just say the word. Just say the word and become a magical girl, and you can do whatever you wish. You want to help Sayaka, don't you? I can help you with that. If only you sign this little waiver there, the contract with the devil. Only then did Homura actually appear and stopped the scuffle, stopped time while doing that, seemingly because the droplets of water just stood still. Homura, really the lord, the lady of time and space, and the fourth wall. I love it. I love how she just changed their places so that the attack no longer hit. I really do like how absolutely nonchalant Homura is about it. She just stops the time, solves the problem, starts the time back up, flicks her hair to add just a little bit more pizzazz, and done. All that's missing is for her to lift her skirt a little and do a curtsy. That would be perfect. Um, what else? Right, we learned a very important thing, a very curious thing as well. Apparently, the thing you wish for kinda, sorta, a little bit defines you as a magical girl, gives you a little bit more power. Since Sayaka wished for healing, she wished for Kyosuke to be healed, she can withstand a little bit more of a beating and she can heal back much faster, which is interesting because it might imply that Homura's wish had something to do with time. Perhaps. Actually, if that's what it is, that's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna note it down. Uh huh. In the past, or in another timeline, or whatever, I'm gonna say originally. Originally, Madoka became Meguka. Then she died, and then Homura became a magical girl to turn back time to save Madoka. I might be onto something. I have a feeling I might be onto something. Right? Madoka was the first one, perhaps the only one out of their group of friends, let's say. That's my assumption, right? Madoka, Homura, and Sayaka hanging around, the three of them. Madoka became a magical girl, then died horribly, and thus Homura's wish to become a magical girl to save Madoka. If not in the original timeline, then at least in some timeline. Yeah. Originally, Madoka became Meguka, died, then Homura became Meguka to rewind time slash hop timelines and save her, because that would also explain Homura's timey-wimey powers, that she can just stop time and appear out of different places on the screen. Right. I might be onto something here. Don't spoil me. Don't tell me if I'm correct or not. I want to see it with my very own eyes. If you do want to talk spoilers, Discord here also in the description. You can join it and talk spoilers in the Meguka channel. Yeah, Homura appeared in the end and saved the day. But I'm guessing Kyoko will still appear. It won't be the last we see of her, and she will try to defeat Sayaka. Perhaps, or maybe she will become a friend eventually. Who knows? Although, probably not, because Kyoko's view of the whole magical girl business is very, very incompatible with Sayaka's outlook on the whole thing. Sayaka thinks herself a hero. essentially, right? She wants to do that. She wants to be a magical girl to help people, to help protect Madoka, to help protect Kyosuke, to help protect other people, right? It's her duty. She's a firefighter, essentially, in her mind. She doesn't care much for the grief seeds. She doesn't care much for the fame, for the power. She just wants to help. Kyoko is much different in that regard. She wants power. She sees it all as a battle royale, essentially, right? She let go of the familiar of the witch so that it can kill and it can grow to be a fully fledged witch. Because then she can hunt down that witch and get a grief seed. If she just killed the familiar, she would not get a grief seed. So makes no sense to do that, right? Let it grow, let it take on some meat on its bones, then hunt it down. A very, very incompatible view of the whole magical girl business. So I'm not sure if Kyoko is gonna become a friend. Maybe eventually, sometime in the future, against all odds. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But yeah, what's gonna happen? I don't know. We will have to watch this episode, of course, and I dropped my pen. We will have to watch this episode to figure out what's gonna happen, so how about we do precisely just that? And to do that, you're gonna need your subs, I'm gonna need my sound, and I'm gonna have to ask you for your support as usual on Patreon or Throne. On Patreon, you can get early access to Madoka Magica, early access to Symphogear, and other non-seasonals. And if you don't want to pay any money whatsoever, you can share my content, spread the word. It does help the channel a lot. And right, links to Patreon and Throne in the description if you wanna check them out. And with that out of the way, we can, I think, start watching. Yeah, I think I can zoom it out a little bit more. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, we can start watching episode 6 of Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, last time on Dragon Ball Z. I love her spear. And yeah, you just got shifted. I love how completely nonchalant Homura is. She's already behind you. Nothing personal, kid. On Madoka's side. Okay, that also works. In some other timeline, perhaps. For today being the keyword here. She'll be back. She saved you and saved the others by proxy. Yeah, you keep putting yourself in very dangerous situations there, Madoka. Kidnap her, chain her to a radiator, that oughta work. Mm, she's not really the proactive type, at least not from what we've seen. She's reactive, if anything. I honestly don't think Homura is scheming anything. Original work, Magica Quartet. Is the anime based on a manga or something? I was under the impression that it's anime original and manga came after, but I might be mistaken. Hmm. I still can't get over the fact that it's just 12 episodes. Like, honestly, we're not even halfway through the season, and I already want a season two. Now, I know there's like a side quell, right? Magia record or something like that. Okay, interesting. Chomp? Or. No, Kyuubey doesn't have a mouth, it just has an opening on the back. Yeah, that makes sense. That also makes sense. Indeed. Did she never had enough? She gave one of the grief seeds very easily to Homura. I guess Homura did return it, but still. Like Madoka. Yeah, exactly. She's special. Right, ask her to become a Mahou Shoujo. I couldn't convince her, but maybe you, her bestie, can. Is that a remix of the opening? Yeah. How? What's your plan there, Homura? You don't need to know that. Walpurgisnacht, the night of the Walpurgis, or whatever you call it in English. Kind of sort of like a blood moon, I'm guessing, where a lot of witches appear all at once, or a super strong witch or something. Hmm. Very physical damage. Right. That's the damage from their like physical regular fight, not their fight from the witch world. Unlikely. No, not really. Yeah, it wasn't just a scuffle. It wasn't just throwing fists. It is worse, but it is the reality. And Sayaka's sense of justice and good kicks in. Although for selfish goals, not for like selfless helping people. Right, she doesn't know that Homura was bound by Mami and was freed only after Mami actually died. And I'm the only selfless one. Me versus the world. Yeah, it's not just about the grief seeds for her, it's about protecting people. Even if protecting people means having to fight other people, then tell her that. Okay, I guess, yeah, makes sense. Flashback? That's creepy. Sayaka? No. I thought that, like, Sayaka came over and, I don't know, to wake her up as a neighbor or something, but no. Maybe it's not a flashback after all. That's a nice texture on the eyes. You could say that. Yeah, that's very true. Because everybody has a different definition of what's right. Hmm. Meguka, become Meduka. Or Meduka, become Meguka. Is she gonna unknowingly push Madoka to become a Mahou Shoujo? Too good for her own good, honestly. That's a good point, actually. Childhood and teenage years are meant to make mistakes. Yeah, you make a mistake, you lose your job, you can't pay rent, you're homeless, right? Making mistakes has much bigger consequences. As a kid, stay alive first. You're gonna have to stay alive, Madoka, if you want to grow old. He's not here? Did he jump? Oh, released. Okay. Again, my mind went to the worst possible place again. Because of the colors, of the shading, of the presentation. Those are shitty lamps, they facilitate light pollution. They should be covered at the top so that they only shine down. Let me guess, a witch is going to attack. Oh, no, not a witch. A bitch. One letter off. That's a lot you know about. That's true. Kyuubey said as much. Cars? That's very Princess Renner of you. That's like, are you Renner? You're getting too worked up over words. She's writing a song? Hello, Kyuubey. Fuck do you want? Okay, Sayaka's in trouble. And you can help her if only you become a magical girl. That's a cool bridge. Henshin? Henshin. Kyoko Henshin. This looks like an eye that's opening up. Hello, Homura. Hello, Homura. Especially if you can control it. And she's gonna throw it. She's gonna throw it. Oh, oh, oh? Oh, Sayaka fucking died. Is the soul inside of the egg? Is that what's going on? The moment they make... Kyuubey pulls something out and then pulls it back in. Their soul slash life turns into the egg. Yeah, you're not inside of your body, you're inside of the fucking egg. You're not your body. That's a detail you omitted. Yeah, Sayaka is the egg. That's Sayaka. Okay. That's why it's called a soul gem. Yes. So, Mami could technically be revived. Where's Mami's soul gem, though? I mean, there is sense in it, like, there is logic in it. And she's back. Or, yeah, she's back. Now kill the rat. Kill the magic rat. Okay. Hmm. Maybe Kyoko is gonna become a friend after all. Over a common enemy, so to speak. But yeah, that's a question. What happened to Mami's soul gem? Was it consumed together with her? Is it still stuck in the witch world? Is it laying somewhere on the ground? Let me crank up the volume. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting illustration. Very interesting. Can you accept your true feelings? Was that Mami's voice? That's. Wait. Am I hearing things? I don't know. I'm not sure. That kind of sounded like Mami. But I'm not entirely sure. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Let's go back to the beginning. And let's go through this episode again. Shall we? Oh. This episode changes a lot, doesn't it? And it also explains how Sayaka was able to recover this quickly. With magical power, she can heal her body, her shell, the vehicle of her soul, essentially. Oh, that's cool. Extremely unexpected. Jesus. I would have never in my life thought that their souls get enclosed in the eggs. I'm an ally to those who maintain their composure, and an enemy to idiotic aggressors. Yeah, exactly. And she's also an ally to Madoka, first and foremost. And she's just casually appearing and disappearing. I love it. Yeah, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Huh. OP. Now this becomes interesting then. She's using the grief seed. They are all using the grief seeds to cleanse their soul. It's not just a tool, it's their very soul. And then Kyuubey eats the grief seed. with the opening on its back. Flash of light. The fact that Kyuubey didn't use its mouth kinda makes me think of a machine. Kinda makes it seem as if Kyuubey... Is it only one Kyuubey? Are there multiple Kyuubeys? That's another question. Is it one per country, one per continent, one per city, or is it just one Kyuubey that handles the entirety of the world? But that's a different question. What I said, it makes me think of a machine, as if Kyuubey was a grief seed disposal, or maybe not a grief seed disposal, but kind of like a grief seed generator powered by grief seeds. Either it's powered by grief seeds or uses them, turns them into some sort of energy or something to be used in unspecified future, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Also, the thing where the grief seed pulls something out of the soul gem makes me think that might be significant. That Kyuubey might be after that. Whatever that is. That taint of the soul. Maybe. That might be a long stretch. That might be a stretch. That might be a stretch, but it reminds me of Symphogear GX, where Carol kind of created an enemy that can stand against her for a reason, to harvest their power, in a way. Makes me think, maybe, kinda spitballing here, could Kyuubey be, or Kyuubeys, if there are many, could it be recycling those grief seeds? What I mean by that is feeding on the taint, cleaning the grief seed up, then puking it up or shitting it out, and allowing that grief seed to hatch into a new witch, so that another Mahou Shoujo can get that grief seed and then fill it with her soul taint, so that the Kyuubey has that soul taint to eat. Kinda deal? That hatch in its back, it really may... Yeah. I can't get over the fact that there is some mechanic to it. That hatch and the glow, it implies some sort of an energy being created or being freed or being extracted or something. Maybe Kyuubey turns people into magical girls to hunt the witches for it, so that it can feed on the grief seeds. Maybe it doesn't create witches, just creates magical girls to feed. Uses them as tools, essentially, shepherds and butchers, and then sucks out the delicious soul taint. I don't know. The hatch and the bit about the soul gems being souls really made me think. Both about the thing where Kyuubey pulls out something from the body, which now makes sense that it's the soul itself, and about the disposal of the grief seed. And yeah, you'll need to find a new grief seed. It's an endless cycle, isn't it? And yeah, if you have spares, you don't have to worry about dirting your current one, because you can always clean it up however many times it takes. Also, an interesting thing. Using magic taints your soul. It doesn't deplete some resource. It doesn't deplete your mana or your energy, or doesn't use your memories, or doesn't burn your soul or anything. It taints your soul. Could the magic that creates magical girls and allows them to fight be nefarious in itself? It's not that the witches are necessarily good, or maybe they are. That's another thought. Although no, they are like pushing people to suicide, so they probably aren't the best thing to have around. But makes me think the magic is somehow impure. One episode changed so much about my outlook on the whole thing. And she was able. Are some magical girls just more talented? Yeah, apparently, and Madoka seems to be the most talented of them all, at least that we know of so far. And yeah, Kyuubey is really, really, really trying anything and everything to turn Madoka into a Mahou Shoujo, doesn't it? Direct persuasion didn't work. Putting Sayaka in danger didn't work because Homura appeared. So maybe Sayaka can convince Madoka to become a magical girl. Kyoko is just dancing some DDR on a CG machine. I see those polygons. I see those polygons. Shaft, I see them. That's a cool scene of dancing, by the by. Animated on twos, but also on ones where needed. And on threes where needed. It creates some nice motion. Dog Drug Reinforcement. Great title. And the dogs have blacked out eyes, like Madoka's drawings. Were they also drawn by the same person? And also, the machine is very reminiscent of the Witch World, like cardboard cutouts. It's very distinctly undrawn, unanime, very physical. Interesting. Girls like you are fit to be magical girls. Yeah, you wanna do it, you have a reason to do it. Sayaka just kinda wants to fuck around and maybe help some people. Also interesting that the things are popping out. Is it like holograms? I know that it's set in unspecified future, but an interesting bit. I don't think we've seen holograms yet. And yeah, apparently Homura has a plan. How to take Sayaka out of the picture. Who the heck are you? Walpurgisnacht. Night of the Walpurgis. Walpurgisnacht. Walpurgis Night. Abbreviation of Saint Walpurgis Night, also known as Saint Walpurga Eve. It's from a ballet. Uh, is the eve of the Christian feast day of Saint Walpurga, 8th century abbess in Francia, and is celebrated on the night of 13th April and the day of May the 1st. This feast commemorates the canonization of Saint Walpurga and the movement of her relics to Eichstätt, both of which occurred on May 1st, 870. Saint Walpurga was hailed by the Christians of Germany for battling pest, rabies, and whooping cough, as well as against witchcraft. Against witchcraft. So it would seem that the Walpurgis Night is something good because it's supposed to like help you fight the witches. And also pest and rabies and whooping cough. In parts of Europe, people continue to light bonfires on St. Walpurga's Eve in order to ward off evil spirits and witches. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Initially, it seemed to me as something like, I don't know, Terraria Blood Moon, where many monsters appear, see many witches, but maybe it's the night where fighting witches becomes easier or something. Although from what they're talking about, it doesn't seem that way. Yeah, those are holograms. How do you know that? She knows anything that has happened and will happen because she's been through it time and again. Cue the hair flick. That'll be pretty hard to handle alone. Yeah, Blood Moon essentially, but we might win if we teamed up. I think Homura alone is enough, honestly. Want some? Hell yeah! And yeah, of course, Madoka, ever the idealist. We can talk things out. We can all be friends. She's very much the archetype. Very similar archetype to whatchamacallit, Hibiki in Symphogear. I know I'm making a lot of comparisons to Symphogear, but it's like the only Mahou Shoujo show that I'm watching right now, so that's my only point of reference. Yeah, very idealistic. We can talk it out. But yeah, we apparently can't. Hmm. Apparently, according to Sayaka. I see some change in Sayaka. Mami's death changed a lot, didn't it? Yeah, you became a magical girl to fight witches, and Kyoko is also a magical girl that fights witches, so your goals are technically aligned. Except Sayaka also wants to fight the familiars, and Kyoko wants to let the familiars roam free. So that they can grow into witches, so that she can fight witches. Their goals are their goals are the same, but the route they're taking towards that goal is misaligned. Not even misaligned, it's like almost complete opposite. Yeah, that girl isn't a witch, she's a magical girl like you. That she's worse than a witch. And Homura-chan too. Yeah, Sayaka really can't get over Mami's death, can she? And she sees every other magical girl than her and Mami, she has like a very idealistic picture of Mami, and everybody else just wants to kill witches doesn't actually want to help people. I want to help people. Mami wanted to help people. Homura, oh, she just waited, she just lied in wait until Mami was killed so that she can take the grief seed. Now, granted, Homura didn't exactly act in a way that would make them think otherwise. She did young the grief seed in the end and was like, "Hey, you didn't fight for it. I killed the witch. It's mine." So I can see how they could come to that, how Sayaka could come to that conclusion, especially if, since none of them knew about the fact that Homura was trapped by by Mami. Although that kind of raises a question: why did she not free herself earlier and just only Mami's death freed her? Hmm. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Knowing that Homura can just casually teleport around, couldn't she have teleported out of the trap? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. That's not what happened. Yeah, the transfer student is the same as Kyoko. I'm the only just. I'm the only one who wants to help the world. I'm the only hero. And I will fight the witches, and I will fight anyone worse than the witches. If someone wants to let the witches roam free, I'm gonna fight them. If someone wants to let a familiar go free, I'm gonna throw hands. Yeah. It's gonna be her downfall eventually. I have a feeling. And yeah, of course, Kyuubey can't say anything and doesn't really want to say anything. If as long as Sayaka is in danger, that means eventually Madoka might decide that she also wants to be a Mahou Shoujo to save Sayaka. So of course Kyuubey won't just stop Sayaka from being a magical girl. Besides that, it can't stop Sayaka from being a magical girl. Once a Mahou Shoujo, always a Mahou Shoujo. You can't exactly revert that, not as far as we know. That's creepy as fuck. The dog on the right looks like the dog from The Lady and the Tramp. I think it actually might be the lady from The Lady and the Tramp. For a moment I thought that their eyes changed positions, but no, they are the same. It's not quite as creepy as it could have been. 40-degree water, Jesus Christ. You wanna be boiled alive? Can't sleep. Welcome home. There's some potato salad in the fridge. Tomo. Who's Tomo? Is that the father? Tomohisa Kaname. Yeah, that's the father. Mommy came home late. And a little bit of a talk. Yeah, you can't expect a happy ending just by doing what's right all the time. Indeed. You can do everything right and still lose. You can be as good a person can be, and the outcome is still gonna be bad. That's how it works. Sometimes you need a little bit of badness, a little bit of bad, a little bit of what's not right. Yeah, that's life. It's not fair that if you can't be happy even though you're not doing the wrong things. That's just life. Like it's actually the contrary. You can be happy, the most happy, if you are doing the wrong things, right? Like people who, I don't know, steal, exploit their workers, scam people out of their money and whatnot. They have the most money. They have mansions. They have private jets and whatnot. They are the happiest. And if you have strong moral compass, then you're probably slaving away at some job that pays barely enough to live. That's life. Alas. And that's another problem that can be solved by someone not involved. Somebody has to be in the wrong to balance out her need to be in the right. Huh. What does it mean exactly? Like, the only interpretation I can come up with currently is that someone has to be the enemy so that she can be in the right. Right? Like, if she has a villain to fight, then her sense of justice will be fulfilled, so you, Madoka, should become a villain. That's like the only read I can get on that, and I don't think it's the correct one. Do something wrong. Tell a white lie or run away from something scary. Sometimes you realize that was actually the best choice in the end. Running away? Probably. Sometimes when you hit a dead end with no real alternatives, making a big mistake is an option. I guess so. Right? Like, if you have no other options, then no other, like, logical outs, logical solutions, do something illogical, do something bad, do something stupid. It might just about work. I want to be an adult. No, you don't. Believe you me, you don't. One thing that I kind of missed, kind of skipped. There was some writing, oh yeah, there, somewhere thereabouts. I completely missed it, and when I saw the note from the father, I remembered that there was another note. Note to customers, please do not eat or drink while playing. Entry for the purpose of hitting on people, solicitation, or otherwise attempting to take customers to other locales is strictly forbidden. Fuck the rules, I'm gonna eat Poki. Really establishes Kyoko's character, right? Fuck the rules, fuck the system, I'm gonna eat Poki and kill witches. Yeah, my mind immediately went, again, in the direction of something bad happened. Because of the lighting, because of the shadows, because of the silhouettes, and the uneasy feeling of the hospital, my mind immediately went, motherfucker jumped the window. It turns out there's something wrong with his brain. The government agency took him in to check how the fuck did he recover this quickly. You know, something. Maybe he was taken by a witch. Maybe no such person ever existed. He was wiped out and only Sayaka remembers him. You know, my mind instantly went racing in those directions. Those street lamps, as I mentioned, complete and utter garbage. They contribute to light pollution. They are a reason why I can't see stars at night. Fuck those lamps. Lamps should have a like a roof on top so that they only shine down with some sort of an angle, but they should never ever ever shine up. First of all, waste of energy, waste of light. Second of all, motherfucking light pollution. It's such a cool solar punk world, and they aren't combating light pollution. Can you see any stars on the night sky? I didn't think so because of those fucking lamps. Okay, there are some stars, I guess. But also, no one has any lights on in any of those skyscrapers, so I guess that contributes to the lack of light pollution. Okay, again, my immediate thought here. Again, silhouettes, night, uneasy feeling, those orange bright lights in the top right corner. She's gonna witness him playing and then suddenly breaking down, throwing the fiddle, and screaming to high heavens about something. I can't find the inspiration. God, why have you forsaken me? Something along those lines. They really are great about creating the feeling of unease at moments that have nothing to do with unease. They have nothing to cause you unease. Kyoko's appearance. She's eating something else now. That's not a Pocky. That's a churro. Yeah, that's a churro or something similar to a churro. And of course, Kyoko knows everything because, of course, she would. And she had to mention Tomoe. Uh, Remember, don't stick your dick in crazy. She will break your legs, break your arms, and chain you to a radiator. I know that characters like Kyoko, like Princess Renner, can be appealing. Don't. Yeah, genuinely, my first thought immediately, Princess Renner, she had the plan to uh, minor Overlord spoilers. She had the plan to for Climb, her beloved, to be killed in battle, and then she hoped to resurrect him, but due to resurrection, he'd be essentially a vegetable or just, completely helpless, and then she would be able to chain him to a radiator and keep him as a pet. Completely fucked up, and Kyoko and Princess Renner would really like each other, I have a feeling. Make him so helpless that he won't be able to do anything without you. Exactly. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, the little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away. There's an error, Madoka, you're making mistakes in your homework. With the spoon, hey diddle diddle, Japanese fiddle, Japanese love, Japanese. Cool. I'm assuming that's some, I don't know, child rhyme or something, or a song. Somebody has to be in the wrong to balance out her need to be in the right. I'm still not quite getting it, but I'm gonna take it at face value. This is a cool location. Reminds me of my cities in Cities Skylines, where I create pedestrian overpasses over roads. I need to play Cities Skylines one day. Maybe when I get a little bit more RAM, because 16 gigs is not enough for Cities Skylines anymore. Not with the amount of mods that I'm using. I'm gonna need at least 64 gigs in this baby. Cool henshin. Not ever letting go of the Poki. Yeah, that's eye-opening. Literally, that's an eye that's opening. Embedded in her chest. In her tiny little boob window, proportional to her boobs, I guess. Of course, Madoka to the rescue. And whenever Madoka gets herself involved, you can be damn sure that Homura is also gonna get herself involved. And just... I love this. I love Homura's complete disregard to space, time, and the fourth wall. Just casually walks from behind Kyoko, just like that. I love it. I love it. And yeah, do something bad, do something illogical. Right? Yeah. I thought for a moment that she like recalled what her mother told her, but I guess not. She just decided that it's time. Grab the soul gem and just yit. Thankfully, it wasn't destroyed. Thankfully, it just landed on the bed of some track. Homura instantly knows what's up and just vanishes. Initially, I had the impression that there was like a frame or two of movement, but no, it's just between frames. She's here, she's not. She's here, she's not. I love it. I honestly do. I'm always a fan of teleportation or disappearance or stuff like that, where the magic just causes you to just disappear. There's no puff of smoke, there's no flash of light, there's no rose petals falling from the sky, there's no, no anything, no magic circle. You just snap out of existence and snap into existence somewhere else. I love it. I I love Homura. But if I hadn't, then Sayaka would still be alive. Congratulations, Madoka, you killed your bestie. How could you just throw away your friend like that? This episode adds a whole lot of creepiness to Kyuubey. If it wasn't creepy already, the complete lack of comprehension of human emotions, of human minds, really exemplifies the creepiness of Kyuubey. And not only that, but this line, just casually saying, how could you just throw your friend like that? As if Madoka knew. No explanation, no nothing, just matter-of-factly asking, how could you just throw Sayaka like that? Accusatory even. Are you crazy? Yeah, that's not necessary to check for pulse. Yeah, she is dead. Or rather, the shell is dead. It has no access to the soul. And again, no like blur, no movement lines, no flash, no nothing. One frame she's here, then she's not. No. Then she's here. Again. And snap out of existence, snap into existence between frames. I love it. I love Homura's powers. Yeah, again. She's here, she's not. She's not, she's here. Amazing. Yeah, Kyoko doesn't like that either. Which, this makes me think that she might eventually become a friend after all. She might actually become one. Over a common enemy being Kyuubey, or the system of magical girls at all. You magical girls can control your bodies from 100 meters away at most. Kyuubey is again very matter-of-factly here. Completely not taking into account the fact that it never told them what the fuck is going on. It assumes that they know that they are controlling their bodies, that they are the crystals, not the bodies. Very like inhuman thinking on Kyuubey's part. You normally carry them with you, so accidents like this are rare, but they happen apparently. And yeah, this is you. This is your soul. Your body is just a shell. I couldn't just ask you to fight witches with a fragile human body. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If you think about it, it makes sense to move their souls into something more resilient. Yeah, your soul is given a much safer, compact form that is capable of controlling magic much more efficiently. From a purely logical, purely utilitarian standpoint, it makes sense, but doesn't make sense ethically. I like how we're going through like levels of pragmatism versus ethics. At first, we have Mami and Sayaka very idealistic. It's all about ethics, it's all about saving people. Then enter Kyoko, and we see the first bit of pragmatism. Pragmatism being let the familiar go, let it grow into a witch so that you can harvest the grief seed and be stronger. It's not moral, it's not ethical, but it is purely from a pragmatic standpoint the correct thing to do if you want to grow stronger, if you want to have a chance at fighting stronger witches. And that seemed as like something outrageous, right? We're gonna let people just die in the name of what? And here we are pushing the boundary of pragmatism even further. Now, even Kyoko herself, who's immoral and pragmatic, she herself is like, yo, what the fuck? It really increases the immoralness, the unethicalness, the pragmatism of Kyuubey's solution, and its inhumanity. Most of all, Kyuubey isn't looking at people as people. It's looking at people as a soul that has a potential to fight, and a body that's kind of whatever fragile something, but humans are somehow attached to it. Right? It really adds to the inhumanness of Kyuubey. Yeah, I extract your souls and turn them into soul gems. Yeah, you have an answer. What the hell did he do? Did it, he, whatever, do? Basically turned us into zombies. Indeed. And yeah, Kyuubey doesn't understand that. It goes beyond, like, I don't know, sociopathy or psychopathy or whatever. It's being incompatible with human mind. Kinda. I read a book. I think it's only been released in Polish. I have it somewhere on the shelf. I don't think there's any translation. But essentially, it's a sci-fi book where aliens appeared in our solar system, in our galaxy. Problem is, those aliens weren't even necessarily hostile. They just had a completely incompatible understanding, a completely incompatible mind, right? Like you were trying to, I don't know, to talk about the dinner you had, and the alien would kill your dog because that's what they understood. The alien would talk about the road they took to arrive here, and that would spark a war because it was taken as a declaration of war. Those like extremely incompatible things between them to a very primal base degree. I kind of touched upon it in Symphogear, I think. The idea of a universal translator, where it translates the word into the base meaning of it, and then the base meaning gets translated into word in the other person. So you're not communicating the word apple, you're communicating the essence of an apple. And those aliens in that book had incompatibility at the level of understanding, at the level of the essence. You would say apple, they would understand I need to take a shit, right? That kind of deal. And it reminds me a lot of Kyuubey here. Not quite to that same degree, but the complete lack of understanding of a human mind, of a human psyche. Yeah, isn't it more convenient? It is. I guess it is. Also, cool detail. Madoka's shirt in the back has a teardrop shaped loop. It's shaped the same way the hatch on Kyuubey's back. It probably doesn't matter, but I couldn't help but notice. Even if your heart is torn to shreds, or you lose every drop of blood, your body can be fixed in no time with magical healing. Yeah, you're basically invincible. That makes sense from a purely pragmatic standpoint. It is more advantageous. You're all the same, yeah, you always react like this when you're told what's really going on. Probably because they weren't told that from the get-go. Also, interesting thing how completely blasé Kyuubey is about its situation. Either it doesn't fear death, because maybe it can fix itself, or it can create a new body. Maybe it's the same situation as with magical girls. Maybe Kyuubey's soul is in a soul gem somewhere in the depths of the earth, somewhere in the moon base, somewhere on a spaceship in the sky. I don't know, but somewhere that makes Kyuubey feel safe. Because technically, one slash from Kyoko and Kyuubey would be beheaded there. Right? And yet Kyuubey fears not about it. Why are humans so touchy about the placement of their souls? Thankfully, Homura to the rescue. Just appears out of nowhere. And Sayaka is fine again. Confused, but alive, at least. Whew. Oh, that was an episode and a half. Jesus. I don't even know what to say, honestly. I think I said anything that needed to be said, but it's crazy how with every episode, or every other episode at least, we learn some new detail that makes things even more fucked up. Like, this show is getting fucked up, more and more fucked up by the second, by the episode. The next episode, or the episode after, we will learn that, I don't know, Mami is still alive. Or she could have been saved if they took her soul gem, but they didn't, so all is lost. Whoop-de-doodle, sucks to suck. Wouldn't surprise me if we went in that direction. Wouldn't surprise me if it turned out that I don't fucking know. Kyuubey is the literal devil from hell, and hell is a real place. Nothing would surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Kyuubey was actually feasting on the souls of magical girls. That grief seeds aren't really cleansing the soul gems. They're pulling out bits of the soul, and it's like a delicacy for Kyuubey, or nothing will. I mean, I'm saying that nothing will surprise me, but things will surprise me. I have no doubt that this series has many more surprises in store for me. And it's crazy how incredibly dense it is. I still can't believe that it's only 12 episodes. I can't believe this is episode 6. I had a feeling that we're at episode like 10 at the very least, because so much shit has happened. Uh it's it's crazy. Completely bonkers. And I love how they are using those all those things, all those movements, all those tools, narrative tools they have at their disposal to exacerbate things and exemplify them. They're using Kyoko's perceived immoralness and pragmatism to show that, oh, you thought that was bad? Ha! Let me tell you something about magical girls' souls. Right? They're using Kyuubey, like, being very open about not understanding humans. And that in itself shows how completely detached Kyuubey is. It's not even a situation where Kyuubey is like actively malicious. From our perspective, Kyuubey very much is malicious, but from its own perspective, it's not. There is no malice there. It's all like matter of fact. It doesn't try to hide the fact that, well, I guess it tries to hide that fact by not informing magical girls about what the deal is with their souls, right? But when the jig is up, it doesn't try to like explain things. It doesn't try to, I don't know, to hide. It also doesn't try to hide the fact that it doesn't understand humans. That's what I wanted to say. It doesn't try to mask. It doesn't try to create that front of, oh yeah, I'm a friendly little creature, tee hee, I can grant your wish. And oh yes, I understand your grief entirely and I can help you solve it, right? There's no element of that. There's no even element of shutting the fuck up. Kyuubey openly says, yeah, I don't understand you humans. You are illogical at this point. It computes properly. My motherboard created this result, and the supercomputer on planet Kyuubey 7 said this is the most optimal. Why are you against the primal directive? It's illogical. It does not compute, right? Very not even hiding that fact. Uh, it really makes Kyuubey completely alien, and it really makes any differences our main cast might have with Kyoko seem like no big deal. Like, Kyoko is a friend now, honestly, because everything else pales in comparison with the discovery they just made. Also, also, Madoka isn't a magical girl yet, and she's learning about all the downsides. Oh, I see what they're doing here. I see what they're doing. Oh, yes, I see that. If Madoka became Meguka from the very beginning, in like, I don't know, episode 2, and then she slowly discovered all those things, then we would be like, oh, yeah, that's fucked up, but that's about it. But when when Madoka eventually becomes a Mahou Shoujo, it will hit all the more. Because she's not becoming a magical girl because she thinks that, oh yeah, I get a wish granted and I have to fight witches. She knows she can die. She knows her soul gets ripped out of her body. She knows there's no taking that back. She knows all the downside, and I'm assuming we're gonna see even more downsides of that. So when she makes the decision to become a magical girl, this will be the highlight of this series. Because despite knowing all of that, she still decides that this is the right thing to do. Yeah. It's another bit of a subversion on the Mahou Shoujo trope and a Mahou Shoujo structure. Because usually magical girls become magical girls by chance, right? They find a magical hog in the forest, they take it home, Patch it wounds, give it food. Magical Hog speaks out and says, "Do you want to become a magical girl?" And the main character says, "Yes, I want to become a magical girl. I want to fight the evil sees." And that's the way it works. It's by chance. Maybe the protagonist picks up a wand in the sewers or something, and oh, pipiru piru pipiru pi, she turns into a Mahou Shoujo. Maybe it's like in the case of Hibiki, where again, it's not through the fault of her own that she became a Mahou Shoujo, right? It's never, it's rarely a conscious choice, and it's almost never an educated choice. It's a choice, it's a conscious choice by being given a choice, right? Do you want to become a magical girl or do you not? But the consequences come to light later, if there are any. In case of Madoka Magica, when Madoka eventually becomes a magical girl, it will be her conscious choice, and it will be an educated choice. And that's gonna be great. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say here. It's been an hour and a half already. I think it's high time we end it. Or do I have anything more to say? No, I don't think so. I think I said, honestly, really everything that needed to be said. So, you guys, maybe you have something to say, and if so, do that in the comments down below. Don't spoil me anything, please, I beg of you, no spoilers. I want to figure it all out myself. If you do want to talk spoilers, Discord link here, link in the description. Join it. There's a Madoka Magica channel there. You can use spoiler tags and talk spoilers. But yeah, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories or whatever? What did you think of what the fuck Kyuubey just did, of the soul thing, and what did you have for dinner? Just use the comments. YouTube likes it when viewers use the comments. Like this episode if you liked it, disliked it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Madoka Magica but also Symphogear GX, Overlord Season 4, Yofukashi no Utakolo of the Night, Ruby Ice Queendom, and Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2, and I also stream some gacha games sometimes, and I also sometimes play some games, so stay tuned for that, click the bell and all that jazz. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne. Links are in the description. On Patreon for $10 a month, you get early access to Madoka and Symphogear and other non-seasonals that will be coming in the future. And for just a single dollar, you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits that we're gonna see very shortly. On Throne, you can pitch in towards my purchase of a proper camera, better lighting, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, tell people that I exist, and hey, maybe they want to check out my reaction to Symphogear or Madoka or Tsukito Laika to Nosferatu or any of the plethora of other shows that I reacted to. Check them out on my channel if you want. It really helps a lot when you spread the word because it facilitates a natural growth of the channel, and natural growth is the best kind of growth. With that out of the way, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people, and there is no prize, well, besides a bit of your money.